This season, I was lucky enough to take a trip of a lifetime to Burgundy, France, where I jumped aboard a beautiful barge named La Belle Epoque to sail down the glorious canals and enjoy the finest French cuisine. Today on the canals, it's picture perfect. Look at what I get to see every single day. Along the way, we stopped off at markets and restaurants, sampled produce from the finest French artisans, visited stunning medieval towns, and of course, I got to cook up some of my favourite French-inspired recipes. Even in the rain, it's lovely here on the barge. I just love the sound of the pitter-patter French rain on the water, these gorgeous sheer limestone cliffs on the other side. I almost feel very protected and quite comfy. So it's the perfect time to maybe do a little cooking. I'm going to do a dish that you can find everywhere here in France. Steak frites, or steak and chips. I'm going to show you my version. And because I visited the mustard shop in Dijon, of course, I took a few jars with me. So I'm going to make a mustard and cream sauce to go with my steak. Delicious. So let's start with our sauce. In a small saucepan like this, we're just going to turn the heat on. And I want to sweat off some French shallots. I've got about 3 to 4 medium to small French shallots. I like to cut them as fine as possible so I get them translucent quite quickly. A few knobs of butter. 1, 2, swizzle that around, and we just want that butter to get nice and bubbly. In with our French shallots, and I also want a pinch of salt, and just with a spoon, we'll just give that a mix. Just bathe those shallots in that beautiful butter, and that won't take long at all to sweat down and become translucent. Okay, now while that's cooking, let's talk about the beef here in France. It's fantastic. Look at the presentation. This is a tournedos, which is the beef centre cut. And you see how they've tied it up nicely. A little bit of fat there just to keep it all together and give it some more flavour. A little extra virgin olive oil. I don't like to do it in the pan. I prefer to just season and oil my meat on the plate. Of course, some salt. And I actually don't like to pepper my meat anymore when I'm frying it off because pepper is a spice and it does tend to burn, particularly when you're cooking at high heats. So I just salt it. We're going to cook this and then I'll add some pepper later on. All right, back to the sauce. See, these are really soft now. That's what we're after. Not too much colour. And now in with the thickened cream. In it goes. I'm going to add about 200 mils. Stir that in, and now this is rich, so we want the piquancy that's going to come from our mustard. Now you can use any type of Dijon you like. You could even use seeded mustard for this. I'm lucky enough to have the moutarde de Bourgogne, which is made with the mustard seeds from the region, so it's super local, super tasty, and it's got that piquancy that I want. So a generous teaspoon. I'll have a taste of it after everything is mixed in. Fantastic. And just on that very low heat, because you don't want that cream to split, we're going to mix that in. And I'm just going to allow that to thicken even further, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Then I'm going to use a stick blender to blend it until it's smooth. All right, the sauce has been blended. Look how thick and rich it is. And I haven't added any more salt to that. I added a little bit of salt with the shallots at the beginning, and that's it because the mustard has a bit of salt in it too. All right, over to our fillet of beef. I've just been preheating a pan nice and hot, and I'm going to seal this off for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. I like mine to be quite thick in the centre. You can cook it to your liking though. All right, this steak is almost cooked. So now I'm going to finish it off with, you guessed it, more butter, but I'm also going to add some garlic and some thyme. So in with a big bunch of thyme. This is just going to flavour the crust of the meat. 2 cloves of garlic that I'm going to leave in the skins. I'm just going to crush it. We just want the perfume of the garlic. In they go. And then for the all-important extra amount of butter, 2 knobs of butter. And what I'm going to do now is grab a spoon. We want to baste the steak with this flavoured butter. So as it starts to become bubbly, you want to lift the pan and then just drench your steak in it. All right, pretty happy with that. Heat goes off. I'll grab a plate, and this really needs to rest So onto the plate, that's gonna sit there for a few minutes, and I might just run to the kitchen and see if Leo can cook me some little chips to go with it. All right, we've got all our elements ready to go. Chips are cooked, steak has rested. We'll start with the steak. Place that on one side of the plate. Big handful of hot chippies. And for the all-important mustard sauce, I'm just gonna drizzle it over the top of the steak. So I'm gonna add a generous amount of it and let it cascade down the sides. Oh, look at that. A little garnish of thyme and some freshly cracked pepper over the top. And that's my version of steak frites with mustard sauce using the most delicious mustard from right here in Burgundy. In fact, it's from the home of mustard in Dijon.